So, Ram, question to you. You're from the Madras School of Social Work, and we won't discuss which year, but so there's a lot of theory that you've studied, of course, and from the institution. But so there is theory and there is practical real life, right? So in terms of your experience and real experiences in your career journey where you've seen differences between various theories and how it's actually put into practice.
So, no, I passed out in 1984, right? Really, that's not really a serious problem for me, actually. So that's not an issue. So, okay. No, so let me put two things into place, right? There are these people who are bashers of theory, and there are these people who are bashers of practice. I personally think what makes somebody a professional is she blends both, right? If you're a professional, you're able to really know the why of the what. If you don't know it, then it's like a quack. You're going and doing it. So there is no necessity for us to take any one of these positions to say that is theory or this is practice. But I like the question which says that where does it diverge or does it converge? My view is that every theory is a codification of a practice. If there isn't a practice, there cannot be a theory. Theory doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? It suddenly doesn't pluck one and then it won't appeal to people. So what happens is that what was codified yesterday as a theory is quietly and slowly, especially in a VUCA world, is morphing. The practice is changing. Now, many of us don't recognize the change which is happening on the field, and we stick to the postulations of the past. And then we recognize that those postulations are currently applicable. If we only are more alert, we would understand that sure, Faraday's law of electricity are valid, but the way Faraday's law of electricity are put to use today is moving on, and Faraday did not think at that point of a time about semiconductors, right? Semiconductor happened. Then from semiconductors we have moved on to long way at this point of a time, but the principle of electricity remains, right? So if we understand that, then we will know. Let's take, for example, what I called as IR, or what people called as IR, right? Just because unions are not there in some places, it does not mean that there isn't a potential for an adversarial relationship that not to exist between what the people who bring the capital and the people who put it to use. We may smoothen it over at the end of the day. We may say it doesn't exist at the end of the day. We may now call it employee relations. Most organizations call it employee relations. So that's the kind of change which is happening. At a certain point of a time, you sat across the table and you use the legal framework to resolve differences. Right now you're basically saying that I don't need a legal framework, nor do I need an intermediary for me to resolve issues which are there between my employees and the people who manage them. Once you recognize that you're still resolving differences, right, but the framework of resolving the difference has undergone a change. But essentially, if you don't resolve the differences, right, you don't need a strike or a lockout for you to suffer economic loss. Today, there will be a quieter way by which your economic loss will occur. And you wouldn't even know that it is happening, because nobody is putting red flags outside. But the red flags are today on the blogspot, on the Twitter today. And as Masani was telling, if you're not watching the space on what your employees are saying there, or anonymous way, people are scared to put their name out, what they're talking about your organization, you may actually miss out the voice of which is calling and telling you, because since you're not giving us an opportunity to talk frankly to you about what worries us, what bothers us. Now I have gone to a new red flag. And this red flag is in a different medium, and you may not even know that this red flag is planted in your office now. It's not even outside your gate today. So this is really, in a way, the world is changing. So we have to recognize that when people come together, there are going to be issues people are going to have. And when people have those issues, we need to really deal with those issues. And we have to deal with those issues. We have to be able to have a conversation with people. So there's no 18-1 settlement which is required. There is no 12-3 settlement which is required. There is no conciliation officer who is required. They are not required. I always say, if your HR head is not your union leader, you will have a union in your company. The best antidote not to have a union is to have your head of HR as your union leader.